Hi crypto kings and queens, welcome to my channel. My name is Natalie. My yesterday's trade went into stop loss, which is totally fine. I'll show you why. But I will also show you on Bitcoin why I still do expect the market to potentially come back down to 44,200, 300 and potentially 43,500. When the market is creating a high or when we are in the uptrend, as we can see the market isn't at the moment, we still need to wait for the market to pull back down to create a higher low. If we're looking at Ethereum, we do have two Fibonacci levels where I expect the market to do. So on the lower time frames, if we're going to the 1 hourly chart, we could potentially have a quick pullback and then see potential momentum to the upside. But if we see more momentum to the downside, we can potentially come back down to 3,340 and potentially see the market continue back up. If we're not seeing the market actually having some huge momentum and break everything, that could potentially take us back down to the support again. Remember, I am no financial advisor. You need to look up everything yourself first, but please continue looking at this video and I'll show you on especially Ethereum the two levels where I see the market either having a quick pullback to or a bigger pullback to. We're looking at Bitcoin on the daily chart. We are still identifying that we did break this resistance trend line, which means that we are creating at the moment a higher high, and in an uptrend, as we've been talking about before, is that we need to see a potential higher low for us to buy at the best price as possible. Going back in time, we can see that we're having the rejections around 47,000K because we're also retesting a previous support level. That is why we are seeing the market having the pullback. If we see the market failing to break this level, we can come back down to the Fibonacci levels where we expect the market to create a higher low around 44,200 and 43,400. From these levels, if we see the bullish rejections and that we see the market actually is creating a higher low, the targets that we can reach is around 48,900 and potentially 52,400 on Bitcoin. So if we're looking at Ethereum on the daily chart, yesterday we saw the market trying to break the support trend line, which I was talking about. The market did not respect the Fibonacci levels. You saw the market having a huge break to the upside, and I was talking about this one on yesterday's live stream. But the Fibonacci levels was not valid. We did have it around 3,382. The market broke this resistance, and now we could potentially see the market coming back down to retest at about 3,400. What we can do at the moment is that we're following the price that the market is giving us. So we are changing the support trend line because now this support trend line will be valid. The last one was not. So we always have to follow the market and see what it's doing. So next time, if we see the market pushing back down a little bit, we can potentially come back down and retest this trend line instead of the one that I did have before, because this price will be the one the market will respect. So we can also drag a Fibonacci because now we can see the market is creating a higher high, and going to the 12-hourly chart just to see what's actually happening. We can just go back down to the 4-hourly chart again, and what we're doing is that we're taking another Fibonacci from 3,250 to the highest point, and that is 3,487. So if we potentially see the market now breaking to the downside again, and if you're coming back down to retest this support trend line, which you can also see the Fibonacci is pretty good combined with, that could be around we can see a pullback back down to potentially 3,368 and 3,342. If the market gives us bullish rejections around these levels, you can look for bullish engulfing candles. A lot of doji is something that I usually use. But as long as we see that the market gives us the rejections around these levels, that could take us back up to 3,540, 3,660, and potentially 3,770. It is the weekend. The market is usually pretty slow, so we just might see the market bouncing in between these levels until we actually see the market coming back down to retest the Fibonacci. But if we would now, because obviously the market can do two things: either we are seeing the market pulling back to the upside, or we see the market having some more momentum to the downside. This could be in the beginning of next week because, as I told you, market is really slow. But if we see the market potentially pull back down, because Either way, we need to wait for the market to create a higher low for us to be able to buy the market, because we don't want to buy the market at a higher high, because if the market then reverses back down, we will be in drawdown and you will have your stop loss taken, and your stop loss will be pretty far away from your entry, which is not the point when we are trading. But if we see the market now having the pullback, because that is what we need the market to do, we need to wait for the market to pull back to create a higher low. If we potentially see the market closing up below the support trend line again with huge momentum, this Fibonacci will not be valid. We need to see the market coming back down to these levels and see the market actually having the rejections around them for us to be able and be more sure about that this level will potentially be where we see the higher low being created. That's when we are buying the market and then having the tight profits that I just spoke about. So that is why it's really important that we're looking at these levels and see when we come to these levels, how is the candlesticks behaving around them, because as I told you, if you see huge volatility to the downside, the market will not respect these levels, and that could actually take us back down to the previous resistance that we did break at around 3K. That is why it's really important to have the candlesticks in mind and see how it looks. Going to the higher time frames, you can see that we are retesting a previous resistance. So this is the previous higher high that we also do have going back in time. This is a respected level. So on the lower time frames, if we're going to the 1 hourly chart, we can take another Fibonacci from 3,408 to 3,512, and this could actually be where we see the market coming back down and retest 3,460 and potentially 3,449. We can also come back down and retest 3,400 and then see the market having to push to the upside. So everything depends on if we see the market having a quick pullback, market continues back up to potentially 3,600 or 700, or if we see more momentum, we can see these targets that I spoke about before and potentially see the market reversing back up. I don't know what's going to happen. That is why it's really good that we're using these different levels to see if the market, just as I told you, if we're having a quick pullback or if we're having a bigger one. The candlestick will always tell us what it's about to do and what it's doing. More volatility candlestick, obviously it can take us back down to lower targets. If we see the market having the exhaustion, that could only be a quick pullback. So that's what I'm waiting for at the moment. I'm usually not trading during the weekends because the weekend is pretty slow. So you just might see the market coming back down and potentially just consolidate in between these resistance levels that we do have. And during the next week, we will see more momentum. And Mondays is usually a fake out day. So market is having some huge momentum to either direction. And then when Monday is done, the market usually goes to the direction it's supposed to go to. My stop loss got hit on yesterday's Bitcoin trade that I did have on a sell position, but that is totally fine. During this weekend, I will not trade because, as I told you, the market is pretty slow. So we're just gonna see what's happening next week, but I'm still looking for the market to pull back down where we can see the potential higher low. Don't forget that you can receive a bonus on Bybits up to $4,100 by using the link in the description down below the video. By doing that, you're always supporting Bitcoinsensus and me, so I can always sit here and share our thoughts with you on the coins. And that is why it's always really important to remember that I am no financial advisor, because sometimes your stop loss can be taken and sometimes your take profit also, but that is why you need to understand that I'm no financial advisor. I only share my thoughts with you. A stop loss will get taken, and that is only a part of the game. But don't forget, you can receive the best bonuses available in the link in the description down below the video. Thank you so much, guys, for looking at this video together with me. Thank you so much, guys, for looking at this video together with me. I hope you will have a great weekend. Remember that sometimes we need to take our brains off the charts, go do something fun, enjoy life, and then we're coming back tomorrow during Sunday, because Sundays is really good looking at the charts and prepare yourself for next week. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification so you know when I'm live next time or having my daily updates about cryptocurrencies. Like this video. We see each other later. Have a good day from Sweden.